It's amazing. Indian of descent Americans are taking over the country. You, my vice president, my speechwriter, Vinay, I tell you what.
Books.
Oh, no.
Books are for p***ies.
No.
Go hit the gym.
So you can hand me a mask,
I can hand you one, yeah.
but you can't hand me the drink without a mask?
You've got to wear a mask.
How does that make any sense?
Why is it so many times that women, after they get married, let themselves go? Here's how way too many women are. Now look, I'm not saying every woman can be the epic trophy wife of all time, like Melania Trump. I'm not saying that at all. But all I can say is, not everybody looks like that. Amen. Not everybody looks like that. But you don't need to look like a butch either.
Ooh. You know what, Stuart Alan Clark, pastor? Don't ruin it for the rest of us. That is unwise, Pastor Clark. I don't know exactly. And if you see this guy in social media, I mean, this is pure. This is a Moab level troll, because this pastor is nothing good to look at to begin with. He's
That's
already.
My favorite is when dudes who like have no business telling anyone how to look start in about how like women let themselves go. You know what? Just take a seat on this.
Very
one.
interesting sermon. So there's a lot wrong with this sermon, because what you're doing, unfortunately, is you're putting every man in that audience in peril immediately. Mm-hmm. Every man will have to have a reckoning with his wife immediately. And this guy, Stuart Alan Clark, is speaking for all men as he drives this locomotive off the tracks, into the gully. This is a dangerous sermon for guys, and he has done the men no favors.
Yeah.
Unless,
keep it in your head. That voice that's talking, that needs to stay in your head as a dude. You just need to, lock it up.
Why is it so many times that women, after they get married, let themselves go?
Damn, it's already troublesome. If you're a guy and you're in that, what's the audience in a church called?
Congregation.
If you're in that congregation, you are looking straight ahead and, waving your head from side to side. No. That is a this is unwise. Unless it's possible that he's got to deal with the men in the congregation, that they'll all, as a one singular force, get in a fight with their wives and all go to Vegas together or something. Because this is not good.
Why is it? Why do they do that? Here's how way too many women are. I got him now. The chase is over. Hey, that's where you're wrong. The chase ain't never over. The chase ain't never over.
Oof. Yeah.
He's
Rick,
treading on
Rick,
thin
are you
ice.
saying the chase isn't over, Rick? No, Pastor Stuart Alan Clark is insane. The chase is never over. Can you imagine that? That is... I like what he's saying. Part of me likes what he's saying, because he's suggesting that you're always competing. Just because there's a ring doesn't mean that you're allowed to be anything but your prize-fighting condition. Because as men, you can be swapped out instantly.
No, but he's saying it to the women, though. As women, you can be swapped
right.
out instantly.
Right. So it is... It's problematic in several ways, because you would have to be, as the guy in the relationship, you would have to be impeccable to be able to back this up, stand this up, and say, no, you know what? What he said, what Stuart Alan Clark said, actually means a lot. You would also have to be a guy who does an incredible amount of the responsibilities in the relationship. You would have to be rock solid and bulletproof in your behavior and the way you handle yourself and your appearance. Mm-hmm. You'd have to be impeccable physicality and and character to be able to say what he's saying right now.
And
to
he's
put
not,
yourself
though.
to put yourself in the position where you are going to. It is very dangerous.
And by God, if he don't love me the way I look now, he ought to look at his own spare tire in the mirror. Now look, I'm not saying every woman can be the epic trophy wife of all time, like Melania Trump. I'm not saying that at all. Now, most women can't be trophy wives.
Also already problematic. Some of you have no shot to be thoroughbreds, he's saying already. Some of you just were not given the tools. Those of you who are just simply ugly, you're exempted from this. It's something that I find few women like to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Although, and it's interesting that he says they can't be like, this is I am going to assert that Stuart Alan Clark voted for Donald J. Trump.
I'm going to guess that's probably
Yes.
accurate. Yes.
And I think that Donald Trump, generally, he likes 10s, if you don't know already.
Mm-hmm. I would say so.
Yeah.
And he likes them a bit younger than himself, I would
And
also venture.
They always look good.
Mm-hmm. And Melania Trump does always look good. Nothing that Stuart Alan Clark says about Melania Trump in this diatribe is inaccurate.
Right. She is impeccable.
On point.
Yes.
Perfect. Always looks fantastic. And, in that sense, she is absolutely batting 1,000 for
Stuart Alan Clark.
looks, keeping it together, outfits, everything. She's perfect.
But you know, like her, maybe a participation trophy. I don't know, but all I can say is not everybody looks like that. Amen. Not everybody looks like that. But you don't need to look like a butch either. Hey, here's something you need to know.
Hold on. Now, Stuart Alan Clark has brought in a new element into this situation.
Speaking as a participation trophy, I have my own personal style, and some might say that it leans a little butch.
I don't think so, Alice.
I like my work boots.
You work in a warehouse in overnights.
I still like my work boots. I think they're cool. My chunky
That's fine.
boots.
That's
right?
fine.
And my cargo pants. I think it's
Stuart.
cool.
Stuart Alan Clark is talking about somebody who has jettisoned the characteristics of
femininity.
Exactly, I would say.
But that being said, I do feel that my style tends to be a little more butchy. Do you not think so?
No, I don't really think. No, Alice, you're a feminine woman. No, it's so.
I don't know.
It's not. That's not what he's talking about. He's not talking about.
He's not talking about 90s combat boots.
No.
And skinny jeans. No. Okay. Well.
He's talking about He's talking about a metamorphosis that is more severe, I would say, and
So you would still count me in the participation trophy category.
I don't know anything about anything. All I know is that Stuart Alan Clark is not speaking wisely here, and I don't have them because I don't hang with people of low character, but there is certainly a double standard, and though there's a double, I'm not saying that's good, but there is a double standard. Mm-hmm. Men, you don't know it from me because I've kept myself looking good.
I know,
but men generally marry up in looks generally.
So my mom has a theory, and she's told me this. She says all men marry up. Just naturally. That's because women are better. All men do marry up.
Yeah, no, I think, some men have made some bad choices there. But generally, yes. Generally, for any woman to be
For any woman to be intimate with a man is a concession on the part of a woman.
Yes, because
is it
women
not?
are beautiful and men are disgusting things. Yes.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed.
You're right. Correct.
So in that sense, I guess I almost believe with like the lesbian critical gender theory people who say that like all heterosexual sex is like by nature unnatural and like in a way, yeah. All women are like deigning to partake with men basically at all times. But, so in that sense, true.
You need to know this. Men have a need for their women to look like women. Hey, sweatpants don't cut it all the time, huh? Wearing flip-flops and pajamas to Walmart, that ain't gonna work. Ain't nothing attractive about that.
Jesus. This is, first of all, he's very entertaining. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he would be on the radio. I might listen to this guy just to talk about a guy who's just like grabbing every electric appliance in the house, plugging them in, and diving into the bathtub. I mean, he is committed to having no self-awareness and say shockingly insulting things. But once again, he's just completely flaming all the guys in the audience here. Because they have to deal with this.
They
stuff.
have to like not
they're
have any
in
eye
trouble.
contact with their
Stuart
significant
Alan Scott
other.
has put these guys in the doghouse for simply being there, unless you heard there's a smattering of applause in there. There's not too many men are like committing.
That's the single men are the ones who are like,
Right.
yeah, let's go. The ones that have their wife or girlfriend there standing next to them are not clapping for this. I'm
It
assuming.
ain't. And when men want their wives to look good at home and in public. Can I get an amen?
Yeah, the guy.
It's not a resounding amen. I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah, the guy without a companion is like, yeah, damn right. Yeah, and some other guy said, no, he's a smart guy. The guy who said no, although a disgrace and a coward, is practicing base level
Honesty?
self-preservation. I condemn you loudly, Pastor Stewart. I have never been so. You know what you would do? So if you're the guy here, after you're leaving, this is what you got to do. On the way to the car in the parking lot, you've got to start fuming there. I can't believe it. That's someone said. I'm really just upset about what he said. I find it offensive, and I don't know. And you've got to you've got to massage yourself into such a ball of angry energy over the horribly offensive things that this guy has said, that even your wife would ideally start to grow concerned about how upset you are. Oh, this really hurt. This really upset Cliff. He was really offended. The honor of women. He was really. I mean, so he's and Stuart Alan Clark has done this. Also, though, so he has made put this men in this position. Also, though, part of these men, some of these men, may love what he said, which to many men is a truth. Certainly not to me, because I don't. Physicality is, first of all, I'm married to a Melania Trump, and also my physicality wouldn't matter to me because I don't have that. I'm very virtuous that way. But these guys, probably some of these guys, are very happy it was said. Maybe their wives have gained weight. Maybe their wives are dressing down, don't look like the woman they were 2 years ago. So these guys are probably happy that was even put out in the universe there. Maybe they'll think that, this might take.
Do people
this might
not
take.
think
Cindy might go back and lose the 18 pounds and.
Okay, but to be honest, do you think women are unaware of the standards of beauty for women? Do you think?
I don't think they're unaware, but I think that.
Do you think women who are overweight or trying to lose weight or whatever, or have let themselves go, quote unquote, do you think that they don't know that they're not as hot anymore? That there aren't 3,000 forces a day telling them that they've let themselves go and they're not as hot and they need to lose weight and their husband's going to leave them for someone hotter? Do you think that there's do the men who are married to those women really think that they just need somebody to say it to them because no one's been brave enough to tell them that they're fat? Because I'm pretty sure that women are surrounded by forces telling them they're fat,
Well,
a million times a day. And like we're, you know, I think we women who need to lose a few pounds believe that we need to lose a few
I know
pounds.
you're not talking about you because you remain perfect. But there is. I do think also that men, especially if you don't have kids and if you're newlyweds,
Mm-hmm.
I think that men, especially younger men consider having a beautiful, gorgeous, perfectly shaped, curvy girl, wife. That's a really big thing. That is great. It's bragging rights. Your friends like that kind of stuff. And then I've dated when I was in my 20s a couple of women and you've experienced some of this. And the dating Tom became Blimp Tom 6 months later. They're like, what? And I've actually, anytime that happened, I've always taken the task about it. They made no bones about the fact that they did not want.
I never took you to task.
No, you haven't taken me to task, but the others didn't want Tommy the hot sleeping. Anywhere near them. But also, I've also dated.
Tommy the hot.
I've also dated. I've also remember when I was very young, Alice,
Mm-hmm.
and this is when I was very young. I had a girlfriend who was even younger. I was 21, she was 19 or something, and she was.
Mm-hmm.
She had, I would say, her physicality was notable. And to my friends, and of course, as a 21-year-old, I was already, not only was I immature because I was 21,
Mm-hmm.
but I was profoundly immature for a 21-year-old.
Why?
So I was thrilled that my friends, my guy friends, the dogs, the
Is
pigs.
this
It's
Nancy?
no. But I was thrilled that the guy friends
Mm-hmm.
would appreciated the physicality, and I
Okay.
thought it was great. Well, she then, probably a year later or whatever, had maybe gained like 15 pounds, maybe not,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where she still looked beautiful. She was physically beautiful, etc. But she was not the thing from before,
Right.
which was kind of just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her saying to me, you know, I know that I don't have the same like body I had before, but I'm really comfortable. I like being this way. I like being, you know, and she was, you know, she was really thin before, and now she was more like normal people before.
Right.
And I said, oh, good, but I didn't mean oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want that. I was like, I was happier when that
People were like, "Oh my god!"
Right. Well, especially because it was me, so I was already batting way above my.
Right. I mean, so if I'm gonna be like really honest about this whole thing, I would say that this is like what I think the point of Christian marriage is. Right? Is that
You're not going to take the fun out of this, Alice.
I am gonna take the fun out of it
God.
a little tiny bit. Take the fun out, right? Is that like, okay? I get the idea of what the pastor's saying. We all like hot people, right? Do you like hot people?
I like hot people, yes.
You like people to be attractive. You like them to be
Why
young
can't you
and
say
youthful
women
and
when you
gorgeous.
say it about me?
Well, I'm trying to universalize to all of us.
Okay,
I like hot people too.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we all like people to be attractive and all this stuff. But the idea is that when we get married, we decide to be with somebody forever, even if they turn out to like not be hot 30 years from now.
Well, 30 years from any time, that's game ball where, yeah, it's over.
Yeah, but I mean, like when you're in your 20s versus when you're in your 50s.
I shouldn't say it's
right?
over.
Like,
There are people who remain very attractive.
okay, but what I'm saying is that like the idea of marriage as a concept is that like you're not just about chasing the hottest person who will have you, is that you're like with this person that you decided to be with, right? So like doesn't the whole thing of like, yeah, you need to stay hot to keep your husband, like doesn't that kind of go against the idea of Christian marriage, which is
Yes,
that, like,
but men
you have
like to know
be-
that that's out there.
I know. So, but that's like what I think is toxic
First of all,
about the anti-marriage forces in the world is that like, you know, when you're married to somebody, this is a person that you've decided to be with and you're going to like work with them on this stuff. you know, whether it's what's natural to them or not, right? Like, I mean, you were a little bit skinnier when I met you,
yes,
and I was
correct.
a little bit skinnier
Correct.
when I met you, too.
When you met me, yeah.
We were both skinnier, I would say, when we met.
Yes.
So, and like...
Though, whoa.
Whoa. Okay.
I was already in the realm of a fat. I was already a card-carrying member.
So, like,
so
once
you
you're
bought
over
me fat.
but not this fat.
Correct.
So, and you didn't buy me this fat either.
I don't know what you're talking about. You look perfect to me, as usual.
So, but I was skinnier when you met me. Like 30 pounds skinnier.
I remember you wearing different clothes when I met you. Yes.
Yeah. So I was skinnier when you met me.
Mm-hmm.
And you were skinnier.
You were 30 pounds skinnier?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 4 kids will do that to a person. It's crazy. It's crazy. Not to you, but.
Yeah. Then what happened to me? So, all right. So.
But I don't know. I think that's like you bought what you bought. Like sometimes people get fatter.
Well, right, but the
I mean, we all
the brochure said you have super hot wife to be in window A. That's what the brochure said, and then.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and this is the thing. Like, do you remember when some reporter asked Melania Trump, like, do you think if you like weren't so hot, like, Trump would be married to you? And she was like, do you think if he weren't so rich, I would be married to him? Like,
well, but that's the transaction.
that's like radical honesty, right?
Right. Okay. So that's a transactional nature. So anyway, Stuart Allen Clark Alice is has been sidelined. Am I correct?
Yeah, he's been put on leave from his ministry of being a pastor.
Yeah, that's what happens when the flock is co-ed, and half of them leave, and then force their partners to leave as well. Nice try, Stuart. A very entertaining sermon. I appreciate it, but I would maybe pare it down a little bit and maybe rework it before you say it and shout it out there with full confidence. I also would just, maybe we'll leave the term butch holstered from now on, and that brings a whole new world of troubles that you do not want. Joe Manchin today, the Senate has passed the bill, the Biden super bill.
The American Rescue Plan.
Exactly, which gives us money, right?
This does give us money, the Shaddocks. It gives fewer people money than the Trump administration gave money to, which is a little bit of a tough sell for Democrats. Ilhan Omar was complaining about this. Like, wait a minute. How come the Republicans gave money to more people than we did? Something's wrong here. But it gives everybody who makes under about $160,000 a year some money. For couples, it's like $75 for single people. But so the Shaddocks are lucky enough to get some money here in this plan. But somehow, like, the math seems a little weird because it gives $1,400 per person under a certain income. But, like, if you divide the amount of money the bill costs by the number of people in the United States, it's like $6,000. So they're spending money on a lot of other stuff, including they're sending money to schools for the next, 10 years or something crazy. So this is money to reopen the schools this year, except it's, not all even slated to be spent this year. It's, for future
just like the money
years.
that was passed earlier this year hasn't been spent yet. So this is just handing money to interest groups.
In other news, it also gives paid leave to all federal employees whose school systems are not open. So they get $1,400 per week. Per week.
Oh, did this thing?
I don't know if we ever talked about this.
Did this actually that remained in the bill?
I think it did.
That's disgusting. So the government workers received, because of the inconvenience of having to have kids at home, get another stipend, which is ridiculous.
So that was a good one. Yep, Senate COVID bill retains 15 weeks of paid leave for federal employees. 15 weeks for federal employees at $1,400 a week. You, as a not federal employee get $1,400 total. So
Right.
good luck to you. Have
Obviously,
fun.
that is disgusting and horrible. And Joe Manchin is one of the guys who really put this over the top. He is a Democrat, a Blue Dog Democrat, obviously from West Virginia, and he voted with the Democrats on this. And I wish he hadn't, and maybe he wishes he hadn't too, because he went on 4 TV shows today, Sunday, to try to put a shine on this.
And that's what we tried to do. When we put the cap on, Chuck, we've never given.
Of course, he was actually talking to Jake, not Chuck, at that moment. But when you
it's hard
work
when
the
you
circuit
go to lots
and
of,
you have all those shows to go to, it is something that will happen. Not a great, not a great bill. These giveaways are disgusting. They're horrible, disgusting. Everybody in Congress should get fired. Are all disgusting, and I'm
Okay, do you know who I love though? I love Kirsten Sinema.
right.
She's a winner. So her and Joe Manchin, they're the only Democrats holding us back with the finger in the dam against totally getting rid of the filibuster and destroying America forever. So that's a plus. We like Manchin and Sinema for that. But also we like Kirsten Sinema because in an homage to John McCain's famous thumbs down on repealing Obamacare vote, she went out and voted against throwing the $15 minimum wage in this bill with a big thumbs down in essentially a Catholic schoolgirl outfit. Is that
Yes.
a fair description
Yes.
of what she was wearing when she gave this big attitudinal thumbs down? And obviously the left and the Democratic Socialists and everybody else are really, really mad that she gave a big thumbs down to a $15 minimum wage while wearing a cute outfit and also having a $100 Lululemon bag.
Yes.
And like just the whole thing.
It was really
optically-
petty and unbecoming of anybody in Congress, but I was glad to see it because the world's ending anyway, and who cares? My new favorite guy in Congress, by the way, is Congressman Bryan Donalds.
Okay.
He is a Florida congressman. He is, I think,
Oh, cool. That's going to be my new home state sooner or
42
later here. I'm going to move to
42
Florida.
years old, and this viral video of him saying how much this bill sucked has made its way around the world.
Good evening. Bryan Donalds, member of Congress from the great state of Florida, Congressional District 19.
He's in the rotunda here.
And for our friends in the media, I do want to apologize. I actually left my mask in my office. Why do I bring that up? Because it's important that in our capital, we start talking about the things that are real and not the things that are fake. You see, I already had COVID-19. The attending physician in this very capital gave me the antibody test last week. I still have it. I'm not spreading anything. I forgot my mask. The reality is, if you have antibodies, you're actually okay. The other reality is that the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, the Speaker of the House have all been inoculated. They have the vaccine, but they still wear their mask anyway. The reason they do this is because Washington is accustomed to fan dances. Washington is accustomed to doing fake things that don't matter. What the media will never...
You say fan dances? Washington is a
fan bases. I thought he
really? I think he said fan dances.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
What I tell you is, last year, $4.1 trillion was appropriated to battle not only coronavirus, but to get our economy back on track. $1 trillion of that money still has not been spent. And in this bill that we're about to vote on in a couple of hours, only $500 billion goes towards either COVID-19 or money to help the American people. That's it. 1.5 trillion is waste. 1.5 trillion is going to pay for bridges in New York or underground tunnels in California. Things that have nothing to do with the coronavirus. One other thing I want to point out is that some of our Democrat colleagues on the other side of the aisle, they know it's wasteful too. But the reason why you're going to see them vote for this bill is because they don't want to have to run for re-election without the support of Nancy Pelosi and the DCCC. You see, that's real. That's what's actually happening up here at Capitol Hill. And my hope is that the Times and the Post and everybody else in the mainstream media actually report those facts. You see, the American people are being taken advantage of in the nation's capital. They will tell us that 70% of the American people support this bill. But if you actually talk to Americans in their everyday life and you tell them that $1.5 trillion will never see their business, never see their pocketbooks, never go to address COVID-19, they would never support a bill like that. And that is why myself and the freshman members of the Republican conference are not going to support this bill either. It is time we speak truth in the nation's capital. It's time we get real in the nation's capital and not support radical, wasteful, and fake relief bills like this bill tonight. Thank you.
Congressman Bryan Donalds. Excellent. Well said, exciting about this guy. I hope he has a good career. I hope we have voices of reasoned thought in the halls of Congress, because we need it. We need it. Down the street at the White House, President Biden took a moment to congratulate some folks from NASA. I think this is about the Mars rover, where the Mars rover was into a place that looked like Argentina or something, shooting video that I don't find useful in a planet I don't find useful.
Trump's anti-space exploration.
Until they can find something good.
I'm pro-space exploration.
Oh, God.
I love
what a
space.
ruse.
I love sci-fi.
Yeah.
I'm all for
Sci-fi is fun. Space does not live up to that. That's the problem. And his stuff with this, you got
Well,
this,
it's never going to live up to it unless we explore
this big remote control car on
I'm
Mars.
ready to move to outer space. So that's... I'm ready to head out. I'm done with planet Earth.
These Mars rovers things are useless. We don't see anything out there.
We heard audio from Mars last month.
Yeah, that's what we heard. So anyway, Biden gets on the phone at the White House during a photo spray to thank a NASA astronaut or scientist, whatever.
We have Dr. Mohan here with me. Of course, you know her from the landing coverage.
Hey, Doc, how are you?
I'm doing very well, Mr. President.
I just want you to know.
For taking the time to speak with us.
Are you kidding me? What an honor this is. This is an incredible honor. And it's amazing. Indian of descent Americans are taking over the country.
Ooh.
You, my vice president, my speechwriter, Vinay, I tell you what. But thank you. You guys are incredible. Did you want to say something? I'll be quiet.
Yeah, she's going to get off the floor first. Please. You people have taken over the country. You've broken out of the convenience stores, and now every field is under siege from you.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
This guy has got this talent for this kind of stuff that is incredible. Incredible, and would be the ticket out the door if he were a Republican.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
We get it.
I mean, you got the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook.
They're taking over the world. In his personal interactions with black children during his formative years at the pool.
I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun.
Jesus.
And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my
Gorham. I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. I didn't mean to say that.
leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches.
How is he?
Because I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
What are the roaches? Who are the roaches exactly?
I don't know what that is supposed to mean.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did. And back in those days, to show how things have changed, one of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap. So I walked out with the chain.
Somebody was bathing capless, so Iron Man Joe's going to lay him to waste.
So this, honestly, this might as well be a foreign language to me, frankly. If you use pomade in your hair, you had to come out with the chain. What are we even, is this English? I think that we honestly, need to define this as a different dialect, because I cannot relate to that.
Walked up to my car. And they had, in those days, used to remember the straight razor. You'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in a rain barrel, get them rusty.
Okay. Orderly. All right. So there you go, Joe Biden. I mean, this is all, when you hire Joe Biden for a job, he has been the #1 gaffe machine laughingstock in talk radio circles now for 4 decades. So you're going to get some of this stuff. I look forward to it. I want more of this off the cuff. I ain't fooling, man. That stuff.
So on that note, we do have an announcement from Jen Psaki since our last show, which is that Biden will, in fact, have a press conference in which he takes impromptu questions by the end of March.
Ooh, my goodness. Tap the brakes a little, Jen. That's a lot of Joe Biden.
By the end of March. So, like that's very soon. It's almost as
Their
soon
administration
as
is
the last...
asking that Indian reporters excuse themselves from this, if you don't mind,
Yeah,
in case something trigger him into a semi-racist tirade.
Actually, maybe just don't even have women come to this one
Yes.
because anything could happen with Joe, and like it's just not worth it really for him. But that's it's just Joe being Joe. You gotta like let some stuff slide. He wears cute Ray-Bans. We go with the flow a little bit, and the last 40 years worth of presidents have had press conferences where they took questions by now. So
I think there was another Jen Psaki piece, wasn't there?
Well,
circle back, Jen Psaki, circle back. That's your way of saying to the media pack. If a fact's in doubt, you'll go find things out and give more details when you circle back.
All right, so we've had the administration change a policy position here. Alice, could you fill us in, please?
So, Axios, March 5th, this is now 2 days ago, Axios scoop. The CDC is allowing shelters handling child migrants to expand to 100% capacity, abandoning a requirement to stay at 50% capacity as a COVID precaution. So, I mean, I guess the precaution makes sense to me as we have all American school children in school part-time because they're, 50% of American children are now hybrid or remote because their schools can't accommodate the distancing and all that stuff.
Right.
So you have to have fewer children in the school building at a time, which is why, they've been keeping migrant shelters at 50% because it's not safe to have them all close together. So the CDC is very science-based and has been following that precaution. But now I guess maybe with dropping COVID, I don't know, the CDC I know would only absolutely be driven by science in something as important and, life-threatening as COVID policy. So, but the CDC now says that child migrant shelters can be 100% full. They can fill all the beds.
This is remarkable. And does differ from what Circleback Psaki had said just a week ago.
There's a pandemic going on. I'm sure you're not suggesting that we have children right next to each other in ways that are not COVID safe, are you?
Yes, we are, and now that is happening. They are right next to each other in ways that are not COVID safe, because there's a pandemic going on, yes, but there's also a huge exodus from Central America into the United States because they're invited by Joe Biden. So that's where we are.
That's great. There was also a big NBC News story today about a woman who lost her daughter tragically in a car accident at the U.S. border because Verlyn Cardona's daughter, Yesenia, age 23, was packed into an SUV with 24 other people trying to cross the border from Mexico into the United States. Cardona and her daughter Yesenia were riding in the Ford Expedition truck that crashed in Southern California, leaving 13 people dead and a dozen other injured. Yesenia was one of 13 people who died Tuesday when the van they were packed in collided with a semi-trailer truck carrying gravel in Imperial County. The region is known to be a human smuggling route. So they talk on about the accident, all this stuff. Her dad was already in the United States. They were trying to get into the United States to build a better life for themselves, fleeing violence in their home country. Cardona told Telemundo she was unaware of the conditions under which the group of migrants would be taken to California. The Ford Expedition truck they boarded with seatbelts for 8 passengers was packed with 25 people in all. They got us so fast into the truck they put a lot of them in and just closed the door on us. We told them that we no longer fit and they closed the door on us and we couldn't do anything. I had 2 people on top of me. According to Border Patrol videos, the Ford Expedition, in which they were traveling, and another suburban van with 19 migrants on board, crossed into the United States through a hole in the border fence. It's weird. It's almost like these people would have been better off had somebody built, say, some kind of wall type of barrier on the U.S.-Mexico border. I don't know. I can't think of any words to explain something like that. But so the semi-tractor trailer truck that collided with them did not stop at a stop sign at the intersection. The force of the crash and lack of seatbelts by the 25 people packed into the Ford Expedition caused many of the passengers to fly out of the van and be killed. She said, if you're going to risk your lives, don't do it. I know that all of us, at times, because of a dream and to flee violence, we do it, but we ended up in this situation that we're in. The victims who died ranged from 15 to 55 years old. 10 of the deceased were Mexican nationals, according to the Mexican consulate. They say the Border Patrol was not chasing them at the time. So this wasn't an issue of enforcement or something that the United States did to this group of people. This was a bunch of people who were taken advantage of by human traffickers, smugglers, who received a lot of money to supposedly bring these people safely over the border and got them killed because they were packed into a van that did not have seatbelts for all the people on board. And this is the type of behavior that the Biden administration, with their signaling that they favor a lax immigration policy in the near future and granting amnesty in the near future, when you send those signals, you encourage people to pack themselves 25 people into a Ford Expedition and zoom across the border so a bunch of people die. And like, honestly, I lay those deaths at his door because that's seriously, that's the fruit that this policy bears. It really is. Mm-hmm. And when you encourage people, you're empowering the smugglers, you're making them money, the human traffickers, the people who are dangerous criminals in this sense, putting money into organized crime, all this stuff. This is not good people. They don't care about human lives. They're not trying to help people make their lives better. They're getting people killed, and that's who you're empowering. That's who you're helping with these policies. I mean, forget the fact that the left called the facilities where we keep child migrants, that they called them concentration camps for 4 years under Trump, even though they didn't call them that the previous years under Obama, and now they're not called that under Biden. So, like, that's hypocrisy, and we can all point the finger and say, like, la, 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 it's hypocritical. But, like, this, like, Biden stuff where we promise people amnesty if they just make it across the border by some certain date, like, this actually gets people killed. Not only does it contribute to the children packed into shipping containers at the border situation, but it also, like, people legitimately die because of this. It's bad.
Yes,
it's not a good thing.
Sexual assaults, there's deaths all during these voyages, and these are things that this news media never bothered to look at for the last 4 years. They never bothered to look into it. They didn't want to tell that story. Instead, last year they told the story of Donald Trump suggesting that there were coyotes smuggling children and women around over the border. That he actually meant the animal, the dog coyote was doing it. And so they spent their time writing news stories and having segments, and the comedians laughing about Donald Trump saying there were Wile E. Coyote was out there doing this stuff.
Right, but I mean, doesn't that just tell you how, like, just news illiterate everybody is when it comes to the border? The fact that anybody could actually believe the story that he meant literal animal coyotes and not, like, human traffic smugglers.
Speaking of coyotes, Wile E. Coyote's, his, what do you call somebody in the same profession?
His colleague.
Pepe Le Pew is in trouble now. Charles Blow of the New York Times, who's not a genius, wrote an op-ed titled "Six Seuss Books Bore a Bias," where he argued racism, yada, 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 yada. And now he talks about, he is angry about Pepe Le Pew. And Pepe Le Pew, of course, is the very amorous skunk for Warner Brothers.
I mean, I'm shocked, honestly, that he's not being canceled for being a French stereotype.
That's a good point. So, not only did Charles Blow actually write about Pepe Le Pew as seriously like an adult, saying that it was problematic and rape culture, this and that. But he tweeted after that, said, let's see, Pepe Le Pew grabs, kisses a girl, stranger, repeatedly without consent and against her will. Now, Pepe Le Pew is not only a skunk, but he is in fact an animation of a skunk. And he's a fictional animation of a skunk.
I also am not sure that Pepe Le Pew is, like, the protagonist. Like, I'm not sure that he's supposed to be sympathetic. Like, we're supposed to be like, yeah, you get that girl, skunk.
Yes, his behavior is right on. That is excellent. Excellent etiquette, and those are wonderful manners. And she struggles mightily to get away from him, but he won't release her. We all notice that, Charles. That's the theme of the cartoon, that Pepe Le Pew is an over-cologned guy. Now, it's also there's also the fact that Pepe Le Pew was pursuing a cat, Charles, which is another thing. A cat who happened to walk under paint and get a skunk stripe. So Pepe was way off base to begin with. But this is all worth a big op-ed in the New York Times.
Is that not like a... I thought that was a pro interracial marriage message.
I don't know.
Skunk cat
love. This helped teach boys that no didn't really mean no, says Charles Blow in his tweet. Is that what it helped? Is that that's what it meant?
Okay, so first of all, as we addressed earlier, all women are like deigning to tolerate men to start with. So in a sense, like all relationships have a little bit of Pepe Le Pew where he's like attempting and the woman is being like, yeah, no thanks.
In his woke tweet, he says they didn't even give the woman the ability to speak in all caps. Among other things, there's no woman. Again,
there's a cat.
This is a cartoon with fake characters doing fantastical things. There's a skunk pursuing a cat in this cartoon. God, imagine. And
he's a laughingstock. Is he not supposed? Are we not supposed to laugh at Pepe Le Pew because he's ridiculous and not like a role model?
I don't know.
Or does Charles Blow think that the Pepe Le Pew cartoons were intended as like a romantic instruction manual for men?
Mumford & Sons canceled.
Dang.
Mumford & Sons. Winston Marshall. I do like that group. I think they're good.
I don't think I can name a Mumford & Sons song.
You know them. Yes, you do.
I've heard of Mumford & Sons, but I don't know any of their songs, I don't think.
You do. No.
I do.
Dun, 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 dun. That sounds like it ain't me, boy. That's not what they sing.
I don't know. I don't know.
Let me get you a Mumford & Sons song, okay?
I look forward to being educated by our listeners. I'm sure they're going to send us a lot of tweets about how many Mumford & Sons songs I should know.
You know a bunch of their songs.
I don't know that I do. I don't know any.
What's the big song?
I don't know any Mumford & Sons songs. But apparently they're fascists, basically.
Well,
right. Takeaway from the news today. Because one of them apparently read Andy Ngo's book. I don't know.
Andy Ngo's book.
Andy Ngo's book.
Weep for yourself, my man.
You know the song, right?
Oh, okay, I have heard this. Yeah.
Weep, little lion man. It's not your fault, but mine.
Yeah, I have heard
And it
this.
was your heart on the line.
So they got a bunch of these. They're good.
Didn't I, my dear? Yeah.
So Winston Marshall said, "Congratulations, Mr. Andy Ngo. Finally had the time to read your important book. You're a brave man." Andy Ngo's a guy who's been covering Antifa for years.
He got a milkshake thrown at him.
Right,
in
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
For doing this now, that pushes on to end and cancel Mumford & Sons for being evil right-wing fascists.
Because everyone
You're
knows
not allowed
that
to...
Andy Ngo, who's a...
Andy Ngo. Say Andy Ngo, please.
Andy Ngo?
Yes,
I don't know how to say his name.
It's just no.
Okay.
So Andy Ngo,
Andy
who is
Ngo
is
a
an
gay
Asian
man. And he's considered a white supremacist by Antifa. And so now anybody who reads his book is also a white supremacist, apparently. So.
Okay.
So much for Mumford & Sons.
Oh, God, I forgot. I got one more thing to do, Alice.
What do you have one more thing to
One more thing. We've got to play this video of, this is Jennifer Lee.
That's not her, though. It's the Instagram.
Alice,
the girl's name is Allison.
Okay, her name is Allison. Anyway, she goes to a drive-through restaurant. She's in the car. The person in the drive-thru wants her to wear a mask. She's not sure why.
Hi.
You have a mask?
No, I don't.
I can give you one.
You can give me one?
I can give you one.
Why do
I need you to wear a mask.
So you can hand me a mask,
I can hand you one, yeah.
but you can't hand me the drink without a mask?
You've got to wear a mask.
How does that make any sense?
That's what I just need you to wear a mask. Do you mind?
Well, if you can hand me a mask, why can't you just hand me the drink?
I can hand you the mask.
So he can...
So the guy wasn't a jerk.
No, he
was
wasn't.
just doing
He's
his
just-
job.
this is
But
at a
but they're
Starbucks,
both
apparently.
stuck. They're both stuck in this moronic world right now, where we're all forced to do dumb things that we know are dumb and don't make any sense. So I'm glad she brought it to light. No problem with the guy whatsoever. Oh, Alice. What else are we missing? Anything?
So we did find actual footage of Tom in a Barnes & Noble this week.
Oh, yes. I love this. Hold on. One nice setup, too, Alice. I should have been ready. I was poking around. Here we go.
Books.
Oh, no.
Books are for p***ies.
No.
Go hit the gym.
That's some jerk walking through a Barnes & Noble.
This video right here is actually a couple years old. I just found it so funny that I had to keep it going. F books.
I like it. He's just a jerk, and we got to
Yeah.
get back to fundamental jerkism once again after this is all over, rather than ratting each other out. Now, what was the piece on Melrose or something? And was it Melrose Moms or something?
Yeah. So this is an important thing that happened in the moms group from the town we used to live in, Melrose. And basically, this mom was inquiring because she signed her kid up for pre-K in Melrose, Massachusetts this year. But the mask requirements are that they have to wear a mask the entire day. And she, because of her work schedule, was not going to be able to pick up her kid at the end of the school day at 3 p.m., was not going to be able to pick her kid up until 5 p.m. So she was a little concerned that the mask requirements was that her 4-year-old was going to have to wear a mask from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. with only a break for lunch. Fortunately, the other Melrose moms were right here for her on this and gave her a lot of reassurance about having her 4-year-old wear masks from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. 5 days a week. One mom said, "My son was in pre-K wearing masks from 8 to 3. Happy to answer questions about it. He's just done great, and it's become the norm."
He's done great.
And then another one says, "Same here. Our just turned 5-year-old wore his masks from 8 to 5 and has been totally nonplussed. Didn't love it at first, but now it's like wearing socks. He's been in daycare since July when he was 4.5.
It's like wearing socks on your head.
Over your nose and mouth.
Yeah, you don't
It's
breathe through
great.
your feet.
My son was 4 when he returned to daycare from 8 to 5. He adjusted to the mask very well. I have to remind him to take it off. No problem. My daughter is 4 in pre-K, wears her mask
He
all
thinks
day.
the mask is an appendage now. That seems very healthy.
My 3.5-year-old has been wearing one all day, no problem. I have to remind her to take it off again when she gets home. I agree with the comments above. My 5-year-old has worn his daily 8 to 5. He puts it on when we leave the house and routinely forgets to take it off when we come home.
Dr. Fauci and the CDC recommended us holding my child's hand in the toaster for 30 seconds. And at first it was very painful for him, but he's adapting very well. I'm so proud of him.
Here we go. My almost 3-year-old has moved to the preschool room and he's been amazing at keeping his mask on. Social pressure helps and finding the right mask.
Psychotic. That's fine. Nobody's crazy.
We have 2 kids in daycare from 8 to 4. They wear them the whole time except meals. I have to remind them to take them off in the car. Kids are so much more adaptable than adults. They never complain. I'm honestly shocked because when school was reopening, my 4-year-old still refused to wear one. See? You just gotta force them, and then, they don't like it at first, but you just force them. They're adaptable. They like it.
They can be broken like anybody else. Oh, man.
My preschool has been wearing a mask for those hours. And since she was almost 4, and it's never been a problem. My son just turned 5, and he wears his from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at preschool every day.
Okay, enough of the March of the Psychos.
Then we have one person who compliments all these parents on their fabulous parenting. She says, wow, this is great. Melrose families dealing properly with the global pandemic. Thank your kids for being so smart and taking care of our world and each other. Well done, moms. So congratulations to all of you who have forced your child to put a piece of fabric over their face 45 hours a week for the last year.
Just put this on or Mommy will die. Now have a good day at school today.
That's great, yes.
If the mask slips at all, Mommy dies.
Yeah.
You know that.
Or Mommy will die. Yeah, that's another good one because I also saw a parent who was very upset that the school allowed more children back this week without warning her extremely psychologically fragile child that she posted on Facebook and said, my daughter got off the bus yesterday, totally panicked. She worried all day she was going to get COVID and give it to me because of all the added kids on the bus. Had I known when more kids would be returning, I could have reassured her that the kids would still be wearing masks and the windows would be open. She had to bear the weight of worrying she was going to get her parents sick for no reason. During these times, communication and reassurance is huge. So see, the school, by allowing more children to go to school, caused her child to be worried all day that she would kill her parents. So that's who caused the problem. Please, parents, please try not to make your child think that by normal behavior they're gonna kill you.
Right. Don't make your kids crazy like you are. Because you're obviously not having a good run here, and it doesn't make things better to ruin them. All right, Alice. Before we go, I have one thing. This is an audible I have to talk to you about.
Okay.
And I want you out there listening right now as well to think about this. So, this is a mind experiment, Alice.
Okay.
You ready? So the other day, this is true. The other day I was walking the dog. On my walk, I was a couple of miles away. And I was approaching I was on the left side of the street so I can see the incoming traffic. So at least I have a chance to get away rather than getting clipped. I'm walking up the street. And I'm approaching, probably 80 feet away, I'm approaching a mailbox. And a guy, the owner of the mailbox, is walking to the mailbox to get the mail.
Okay.
So, it just went through my mind thinking, I wasn't thrilled that I would be on, that we could possibly have an interaction. Then I thought, there's not too much of a reason that he would have to be hanging around that mailbox once he gets that mail. So hopefully he'll grab his mail and he's going to go right in. There's not too much you can do, right?
Right.
But then I thought, what if he wanted to have an interaction with me and I didn't want to have an interaction with him? And let's say call it 100 feet and I'm closing in and he's at his mailbox. It's what can I do to try to avoid interaction? Let's say I could tell he wanted to have one. He just had that look.
You could just stop walking forward.
Well, no. But I have to keep walking. I am walking, and it would be very obvious. But no.
But
hold
feel
on.
COVID lets you have that. Okay.
I'm not done yet.
Okay. I'm listening still.
So now let's mix it up a little bit. Let's say it's different scenario, but mailbox in person walking as well. Let's say you're the person getting the mail.
Okay.
And you see the person coming 100 feet away. It could even be you and a handsome young man, Alice, when you were younger, or me and a young woman, or any of you listening, and you're getting the mail, and then you see that beautiful woman coming this way.
You see Tom Shattuck approaching, so you want to stall for time.
So
okay.
So what can you do to prolong your time there at the mailbox so that you can engage?
You open a piece of mail there at the mailbox?
Okay. How acceptable is that? Does that happen a lot?
You can. If you have something urgent. Yeah, you can open a piece of mail at the mailbox if you want to stall for time, I feel.
All right, but it seems to me, are you going to read all of the mail? What if you time it out wrong and the thing you have is just a throwaway thing?
Well, you can keep looking at it. The person walking doesn't know how long a letter it is, right?
Do you keep on opening the mail at the mailbox?
I don't know how many pieces of mail I can get through before it becomes weird. Is that
right.
the question?
Let's say there are 2 pieces of mail. You've now perused it. You've still got 50 feet. this person, this
Tom Shattuck's walking really slowly.
you
Okay.
still got 50 feet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
What other
that I
activities can you do that make any sense at all?
You can, like, check that the mail flag is down and, like, close up the box.
How much are you playing with the mail flag?
I don't know. Okay, got it down.
Right. You can drop the mail.
Okay, true.
But you really can only drop the mail once.
Right, maybe it's really windy, though. If
Already-
it's really windy, a piece could blow away and you could, like, chase it.
I guess so. But already, you've done a lot of things at the mailbox.
Right.
And so the person incoming, and I would if it were me, I would assume it would be a woman who found me creepy anyway, who's like, oh my God, this guy is just looking for things to do at the mailbox so I can engage him. But if you're the guy or the woman at the mailbox, what other chances do you have? You can't pretend to be on a phone call because
Right.
that phone call has to end so you can engage, which is the whole point.
Right. Right. I don't know. Do you have something in mind?
I don't know.
I've given you all my ideas of what I could do to
Well,
stall for
reading the
time
mail,
at the mailbox. Right?
reading the mail is the winner because
Mm-hmm.
that still is shady. Like, I like to read it right out here, right in front of it, and in the elements, which right now is like 26
I just
degrees.
can't wait to read my Verizon bill. Can't wait to see.
Huh, kilowatts, huh? Look at that. Month by month, the way they break it down is magnificent. Magnificent.
But you know, anything to have a meeting with Tom Shattuck at the mailbox, I guess.
Well, you could also, if you've got, like, we've got two mailboxes, our mailbox and the
We
neighbor's
had
mailbox.
two mailboxes.
Right, they're all smashed now. But you could also begin grabbing your neighbor's mail, which
True.
looks odd, maybe a felony.
It is.
But it's just at least doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. So we actually, our daughter, if you recall, had to do a random act of kindness this week.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a bridge too far when we suggested to her that she could bring the neighbor's mail up to their house.
Yes, she wasn't going to do that.
That was way too much
So let's think
work.
about this, and I'd like to, if you guys can think about it as well, put yourself in the position as the aggressor, as the guy at the mailbox who wants to meet up.
Only
with
in your head,
or,
anyway, is the person at the mailbox the aggressor.
Well, I was thinking, if that's the person who wants to meet, because I was thinking as I was walking towards this guy, there's not too much more this guy can do. He's got it gold now. He's gonna be out of my way by the time I get there, because there's nothing else to do. He could tie his shoe.
I mean, sure, but then he's like down in a
He could
prone position.
Right.
As
He could
you walk by.
pretend
It's a little
to be
odd.
looking for his dog, but then the person may help. I may want to help.
Mhm.
You know, what'd she look like? I can help. You know. Well, actually, that would mean you'd be engaged with the person anyway.
Mhm.
So these are important questions, Alice, and each side must be analyzed and optimized.
Okay.
So that we can work such things out.
Mostly, I try and avoid all human interactions at all times. So.
Well, obviously that's the smart fallback to almost every situation. But anyway, yeah, if you have more guidance on this situation, please do let me know what to do. It reminds me of the time. It reminds me of the time when I worked at the front desk of a hotel,
Mhm.
and one of the young ladies who worked at the front desk, she was while I was working with her, flowers came for her from a secret admirer or whatever.
Mhm.
And then, another guy who worked there, who worked overnights,
Mhm.
he called up, he needed to schedule whatever, and his name I think might have been Tom. And I said, hey Tom, well, I can't believe you sent Catherine flowers. That was really great. She's like blown away. And he's like, wow, really? She liked them? Wow. And I was like, oh my God, I was right. It was this guy. I had no reason to believe it. I was just testing it.
Mhm.
And then I was like, oh my God, I suddenly have this information I hold. I am now in possession of something that could be sensitive or powerful.
Mhm.
And it kind of fizzled out from there.
Good story.
I could have done more with that situation.
I don't understand how that's related to the mailbox, though.
Those are my two original thoughts I've ever had. I think. Woo.
For more of Tom Shattuck's original thoughts, you can check him out at Twitter at Tom Shattuck. There's also the Burn Barrel Twitter at Burn Barrel Pod. You can find us also at Facebook.com/Burn Barrel Podcast.
And if you'd like to engage with Alice about how she dresses a little butch too, as she desperately tried to make that story about her, please feel free to. She is at Alice Shattuck on Twitter. Are you Alice Shattuck on Twitter, Alice? Okay.
I am Alice Shattuck.
Please, somebody give her attention in that part of the conversation.
You can send both of us an email, burnbarrelpodcast@gmail.com, and you can also check out our YouTube channel. That's Tom Shattuck's Burn Barrel on YouTube. You can subscribe, like the videos, leave a comment, write us a review. Supposedly it really does help with like getting listeners and all that good stuff. So tell us what you think.